So what I want to discuss is actually based on radioactivity. But then there's this thing that has been bothering myself, and now another thing is half-life. What is half-life? Before I go into telling you what half-life is, let me first tell you why we are discussing half-life. Now we have talked about radioactivity. Now one of the things I expect you to, I said radioactivity is spontaneous disintegration. The question is, how do you get to know, or how long will it take a radioactive element or sample to disintegrate? And that is why we need to discuss half-life. Half-life is one of those ways to measuring how long it takes a radioactive sample to disintegrate or decay. Are we listening? Now, I said the most common way to measure or to telling how long a radioactive sample will take to decay is half-life. Now, what then is half-life? Half-life is the time taken for half the mass of a radioactive element to decay. And the half-life of a material denoted as T half is giving us ln 2 over lambda, where ln 2 is 0.693, so that the half-life of a material is 0.693 over lambda. And so we can say where T subscript half is the half-life, lambda is the rate of disintegration. You understand? The rate of disintegration or the rate of decay. Now, as we get to this, let's then answer one or two questions from it. Now, let me give you. So let's take an example. If the half-life of a radioactive element is 5 days. If 24 grams of the element was initially present, what fraction will remain after 15 days? Solution. Now let's solve this problem. We have a question. They've given you the half-life of a material of an element to be 5 days. So the half-life is 5 days. And 24 grams of this element was initially present. So the question is, what fraction will remain after 15 days? Now, if the half-life of the material is 5 days, don't forget what half-life is. The time taken for half the mass of a sample, an isotope to disintegrate. So that in 5 days' time, 24 grams of this sample or of this element will disintegrate to half its mass. Half of 24 is 12. So in 5 days' time, the sample that is left or remaining is 12 grams. But the examiner says after 15 days. So shall we go? So in another 5 days' time, the sample that is remaining, don't forget, in another 5 days' time, it will disintegrate to half its mass. Half of 12 is 6 grams. And we are going to 15 days. In another 5 days, it is disintegrating to half its mass. Half of 6 is 3. So the fraction that is remaining after 15 days is 3 grams. So 3 grams is remaining after 15 days. If they ask you to find the fraction that has decayed, is easy. Fraction that has decayed becomes the fraction that was initially present minus the one that is remaining, and then you get the fraction that has decayed. Thank you very much.